As a teenager, I did everything that I wasn't supposed to do. That was the easiest way to describe it.
Okay.
And then my mom found out years later. When I was initially diagnosed, I was diagnosed here in Kansas City. And I knew something was wrong because they made us wait 8 hours before they'd give us the diagnosis. And so once they gave it to us, he's like, I have good news and bad news. Do you want the good news or the bad news? I'm like, I don't care, just give me the news. And he's like, well, you don't have an aneurysm. And I'm like, well, that's good news. He goes, but you have moya moya. And my husband at the time and I had both been in healthcare and had never heard of something that sounded anything remotely to that. And they said, go home, and if you have stroke, then come back and we'll do surgery. And I have moya moya, which basically affects 1 in 2 million people. It causes the arteries in your brain to slowly occlude. It doesn't occlude like from hardening or from plaque or from diet or anything. It just narrows, and they can't do anything to stop it. It's a progressive disease. So that was diagnosed, and it'll be almost 9 years coming this February will be when I had surgery for that. After I had surgery for that, they bypassed part of my brain to give me blood flow. I developed something called intracranial hypertension. They believe that maybe my body doesn't know how to process the extra blood flow that I got with that brain surgery. So now my body produces too much spinal fluid. And so that causes me to have, now they have to find shunts. They have to shunt the fluid out of my system. So sometimes those work and sometimes those don't work. So it's caused a lot of multiple surgeries and multiple hospital stays. Yeah, Grace can attest. And then one of the shunts that I had basically overdrained, and so it caused what's called Chiari. Basically the base of my brain falls down into my neck itself. So they say it's disabled. I don't feel disabled. I just feel like it's kind of a rerouting of my life. Like my biggest things is no matter what, I have to get up and take care of the kids, whether I feel like it or not. If I'm in the hospital, I have to find somebody to take care of them, because clearly they would be left. So usually that's where my mom steps in, just that she's always been there and kind of been that pillar of strength in my life. No matter what I've been through, she's always been the person that is going to make me cry, that's been there no matter what. So I mean, if I have to have, it's probably everything combined. Just, you know, every time that I've been sick or every time I've had something go wrong, she's always been by my side. I think, you know, to be honest, the biggest event has been losing my job. It was a dream job. It was everything I ever wanted. And for somebody that, even though I've had this disease, I still had a hold on my life. I still felt like I was in control, that I made the decisions, and I think that's when I really totally learned I'm not in control, that I don't have the control over anything that happens, and it really made me appreciate life even more. It kind of was they needed me there, and I wasn't there all the time, so I did things that nobody else knew how to do, and so that's kind of I understand, but it was kind of sad. But I worked in a durable medical equipment position. I think the biggest advice that I have is that don't let, and it doesn't even have to be my condition, it can be anything that comes at you in life that you don't expect, I think, is don't let it define you. I mean, just because something's happening, it doesn't define who you are. I mean, it may, if you allow it, refine you and recreate and make you look at your life and take on a totally different direction, but I just think sometimes we let it define us and we let it overcome us, and that's when we lose. I don't think I'd have anything that I would really change, because I think everything that I've gone through in life has made me the person that I am. So I wouldn't wish anything away, but maybe the times when I took things for granted, that maybe I wouldn't take them as for granted as I did before I realized, hey, everything is a blessing, even if it doesn't seem like it to begin with.